Well, I wanted to talk to you about maybe some brawls that maybe a dream fight for you. That was one thing we were talking about as we were prepping for this interview. Any dream fights you would ever have? Anyone living or dead? Who and why? Is there anyone you always thought would be perfect to get in the octagon, the ring, whatever with?
Well, I know it's kind of cheesy now to even say this, but if I'm gonna be honest, ever since Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, I kind of wanted to knock Jake Paul out. He's been beating up MMA legends, and now he's moved over to boxing legends, and I just don't think it's fair. Mike Tyson a little bit too old to be in there fighting young kids.
Was that annoying for you to have to watch Tyson in that fight with Jake Paul like that?
Yeah, that was real annoying. That was real annoying. The most annoying part was seeing Mike Tyson's ass, but other than that, I wasn't excited about seeing Jake Paul take out a legend.
I got to go back a bit because I'm a huge fan of something you did many, many years ago when you were in the A-Team movie. I went and saw that immediately. How did that come about? And did you talk to Mr. T at all? Or can you talk about how you got involved in that?
Oh, I had started acting like a few years prior to that, and I was with this agency, and they asked me any passion projects, and I said, if they ever make an 18 movie, sign me up. I want to get in. And then John Singleton was supposed to be the director, and him and I we had a few meetings and stuff like that, and I talked to him, and he was like, man, he's perfect for this role, but you need to learn how to act. So I started learning how to act. And the only way I got that role is because I kind of had some inside info that they was looking for a new B.A. Baracus, not a new Mr. T. So when I auditioned, John Singleton was no longer attached to the movie. I came in, auditioned, and I auditioned as B.A. Baracus, and everybody else auditioned dressed up and acted like Mr. T. So I think that's how I got that role, because every black actor, athlete, everybody wanted that role. But I think I was the only one that knew exactly what they were looking for. And I never met Mr. T, never met him. I always wanted to.
You were a fan as a young person?
Oh, I grew up, I was his biggest fan.
I want to ask you about a guy who's still in the news, who you've got a history with back in the day, and get your opinion on him right now. Jon Jones, still at the top of the fight game. There's been some talk that he's not wanting to fight Tom Aspinall right now. Your thoughts on that? Do you think he's negotiating, delaying? Thoughts on that?
Well, I kind of felt like he was negotiating. Jon Jones told me personally after his last fight that he wanted to retire. Father Time is undefeated. I fought Jon Jones when I was on my way out, and he was a young kid. And so I think it's unfair what he's doing, but I didn't have a legacy like his. His legacy was to be undefeated. My legacy was to be the most entertaining. So I feel like he has more to risk than what I did. So I kind of understand. So he said he wants the big bucks, and I can't get mad at him for that.
I've been looking at some of your clips lately of their old stuff with you and Ariel Helwani. Some of my favorite interviews of you dealing with an interviewer. Was there heat there? Is there heat there?
Well, sometimes Ariel one is hit or miss. So, but he's a very funny guy, and the best thing about Ariel one interviews, he never gets me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So he always gets the best part of Rampage.
Got it. Such a history with you and Rashad Evans. Will there ever be a second chapter after the boxing match was canceled?
Well, we still want to box each other, so who knows? I was really looking forward to fighting him, and I got in great shape. Yeah, I just want to get my first boxing match in the history books, and I was really disappointed when that fight fell through.
Now, this border brawl is put on in part by TNA Wrestling, which you actually have a history with. You went into the wrestling world for a while. While you were there, were there any wrestlers, I know you dealt with Kurt Angle, of course, who you thought could have held their own in the octagon?
Oh yeah, it was a few guys, but I tell you what, Samoa Joe, I bet you that kid can fight.
You think Samoa Joe would have done some damage in the octagon or a ring?
100%.
I want to ask you about your fights against Silva. He was one of your biggest rivals. You had some MMA fans would look over at your wins over Chuck Liddell and think it's him. But is it Silva? I mean, who would you say is your biggest rival?
Yeah, Van Silva for sure. We fought each other 4 times.
What was your fight that you remember most with him? Bellator, Pride, UFC?
I remember every last bit of each, every last one.
And in general, what are you up to in life now? I know you're obviously doing this. Kind of what's going on with you?
I'm just doing fun stuff. You know, I do an MMA podcast with my co-host Barrett the GDO at Jackson, and I work a lot with Harrison Rogers here in Arizona. With he's putting together he's brought together a great MMA league where you have teams UFL, and he helped formulate and come up with a healthier option in energy drinks with F3 Energy, and he has a podcast as well. I work with him, and I do live streaming. I love get to know the fans and stuff